Good morning to you guys. How are you guys? How was last week? How was the trading period? I hope you guys had a wonderful time. Okay, it's good to have you here. It's good to talk forex, and today is going to be fantastic. Today is going to be great. We'll be looking into certain things that will help us improve the knowledge of forex. The knowledge of forex. That's quite important. That's quite nice, and we hope we'll be able to do justice to all that today. Okay. So if you have any question, you can put them right in the chat. I will read them and see how I can actually give answers to those questions. Okay, it's going to be nice, going to be fantastic. So you guys come in. So we're talking trend lines today. What is trend lines? What's trend line? All of us, most of you will be see probably on the chart, on the flashcard, you see some lines being drawn, and you wonder what those lines are, why those lines are there, and what are those lines for. Okay, so today we're going to be looking into trend lines and how we can use trend lines to improve our technical analysis in analyzing the forex market, our entry points, and what you should be looking at. Okay, so let me grab my pen. Okay, give me a few minutes. Let me just grab my pen. Okay. So great. First and foremost, what is trend lines? Okay.
I don't do this. Yeah, offer. I'm not getting you. It's recording something. Is it true? I get something. Yeah, continue.
Okay, guys. Let's continue. Let's set on. Okay. So, what is trend line? Okay. You want to find out what trend lines are. Most people draw trend lines and say, well, trend lines basically is to connect a particular dot. You want to connect the dots together, and where they meet, you just draw a line across them. Does that really count as trend lines? Okay. And when do trend lines actually get valid? So those areas we want to be looking at, is it basically you connecting one dot or the other to actually look for positions in which you want to trade? Okay, so first and foremost, trend lines are structures in which the market move. They have told you at one point or the other that markets move in zigzag format, that we don't have a straight journey. Okay, so we only have markets moving from point A to point B and like that. Okay, so but then you have the trends connecting, showing an upward trend, or either which way you have price actually coming down. Okay, and you have this downward trend, but do they actually need to meet? Do they have to connect? The last time we talked on support and resistance, and we're able to talk that support and resistance is basically where you have memories. Okay, right? Was that what you mentioned? Yeah, where we have memory, a region where there is a memory that this particular thing happened at this particular time. Okay, so if memory is not stated, you don't have a support, neither do you have a resistance. Okay, so all of these must flow in line with your support or your resistance line. Let's look into it, because most times trend lines at support areas, support and resistance, they work side by side, and they are doing fantastically well. Okay, let's look into this. Let me clean up this chart. Okay, we have price move up, come down, and price moved up again, and you have price come down. Should we consider this as a support area? Okay, should we consider this as support and resistance area? So we want to look at these areas so that we'll be able to analyze properly what trend lines are. Okay, now basically when you want to look at the market, you want to look for three major things. Okay, you want to look for support, you want to look for a resistance, and thirdly, you want to look for a resume. Okay, you have a support line touching here, you have a resistance line around this area, and you want to have a continuity of this guy that moved from here. You want to have it continue, so you want to have the resume of the next movement in the market. Okay, these are what you look for in the market, and let's interpret this into the chart. Now price, let me look for a nice area right there. Okay, you have price touching this area. Let's assume price actually started from this area, and you have price pulling up right here and coming down into this area, and from there you have price moving to the upside. Okay, and each time price moves, it continues to look for remembrance, a memory that had already occurred at one point in time in the market, and each time it gets to that memorable location, it reacts again. Okay, and you want to connect only those memorable locations when you are looking into the forex market. Only those memorable locations is what you want to look for. Okay, and no matter how the price moves, it will still come back to respect that location, whether it takes a month, or it takes few days, or it takes whatever week it takes. Okay, it's always going to come back and respect that location, and once that location is respected, then you have an opportunity to take that trade. Okay, now let's look into this. We have price coming in and touching that location. Okay, memorable location. Don't forget, we are looking for only memorable locations in the forex market, and you can see right here price touching that area. Does it mean that when price come into that area again, it respects the area? Everybody is seeing it, even the big guys are seeing it. They know that once price goes up and comes to that area, everybody is looking for that area to actually get in. Everybody is looking for that area. The traders, the big guys, they are all on the mark that once price gets to that area, I'm going to sell it, I'm going to put all my house on it, and I'm going to buy the damn thing. See, it doesn't really work like that. You have to be patient. Okay, so it is your line, when you draw your lines, that gives you the right information to what area you are expecting the price to react. Okay, so you have a touch around this region. You can see from there, you have your first touch around that area, this area price set up, and you can see price came down again into that area, respected that area and pulled up. Does it mean that in the third time or fourth time price will still continue to respect that area? And price came down, broke into that area, and once it broke into that area, you have the buyers kicking it back up. Then what happens here? We are expecting this trend line to be respected. This trend line to be respected. But then the trend line actually is not respected in this regard. You have a broke out of the trend line, and right there, price went back in. But like we discussed in the group, we're looking for, most importantly, your trend line should have this, your higher highs, okay, and your higher low. So you want to connect your higher highs with your higher lows in the market, okay? And when you're looking for the downtrend, you're looking for your lower lows, lower high, right? And your lower lows. So this will give you a decent trend line, okay? And once you have this strike back in, you couldn't see a new high. What happens right here? No new high was created. Does this shows that this trend line is valid? Because you want price to keep pushing up. But something happened right here. This is where we have to be very, very careful. This is where the trend line seems not to be valid anymore. The trend line right here seems not to be valid because each time it gets to this region, the trend line is not respected again. So most times when we look at our trend line, we always want to support them with your support and resistance area. So that is why you see some of my flashcard, you have my trend line showing that the market is heading to a particular destination, and you have my support and resistance line showing some complementaries to where I want price to actually react. Okay, so most times your trend line does not correlate with the market movement, but then your support and resistance will help you to figure out a proper trend area where you want to get in. So if the trend line is not respected here, like we see on this, then who is doing this? Who is doing this guy? Okay, let me take this out and use this. All this area, what happened there? These are areas where the big guys are there to steal your money. They want to create an illusion for you that market is going to go the other direction. The trend line is no more expected. Once the trend line is not respected anymore, the market makers take an advantage of it to actually reap traders of their hard-earned money. So at one point or the other, when you have breakouts and fake out in the market, what comes to your mind is two things. Will it hold? Will the trend line hold? If it holds, what do you want to do? If it does not hold, what is the next line of action? So most times you always want to have patience. Patience. So patience with support and resistance will give you a perfect trend line to where the market is going. So when we were talking about support the other time, we were actually looking for major key areas that strike memories when we are looking into the market, and we're able to spot them out. So when you have price move up and you have the trend line, let me clean up this so that we don't have a messy chart. Okay, right there, and you have price moved up, and each time price moved up, it came back, respected that trend line area, that trend area, and price begins to react again. Okay, and price reacted and broke the trend line, and when it broke, it drove back in, and since then price has been playing around. Do you know what happens here? The big guys use this period, because a lot of people will look at it, say, "I know the trend line is broken, everybody is selling, and look at what they did. They took the price back in. Now the price is back into this region. Everybody is buying again. It's going up, it's going up, it's going up, and right there it took it back down." So when you have this first scenario of a breakout, it's more important for you to hold patient. Why is this area like this? Okay, and from there you can see on the first side, with your memorable support region, memorable area, you have your support and resistance in play. That will give you a proper view of what is happening. So your trend line does not work alone. It works with support and resistance. It works with perception. You want to know what is going to happen next. So you don't just see and connect a particular dot, and once your dots are connected, you just invest all your whole money. Hey, you have to be very careful. You want to have regions where reactions are being created. It's not just connecting a particular dot and connecting those dots and say, "Oh, what a fantastic line," and you just draw a line through it and say, "If price comes to this line again, I'll put my whole house on the line and I'll sell it." Once you do that, you lose all your money. So you have to use your trend lines. You have to use price actions. Price action. Okay, price went up, you expect price to come down, and once it comes down, what happens at that region? When price came down, was there a reaction? Was there a memorable action that was played in there when price comes down? Okay, these are things you want to figure out before you draw your trend line. Okay, now let's take it further to another level. Okay, now you guys know when trend lines actually occur. Let's take it a little bit further. Okay, probably okay, let's use this area. Okay, Now, guys, you have price kicking up from this area and price going down. Went down, came back up, right into that region. And the level of pullback, you can see, just like we've been talking and chatting in the group, you want to see the measurement of the movement in the market. The speed, okay? What is the momentum like? Do we have a nice momentum? Okay, good. Now, what is the level of pullback? Okay, do we have a pullback that is commensurating with the movement of the big guy? Okay, if your movement is 100% and you have a pullback of about 70%, you want to ask why. Why did he have that kind of pullback? Was it that he's weak? Is it that he's not ready to go, or he's taking time to have enough rest for his next move? Okay, and once that happened, look at what happened again. It drove it down to this region. And you can see the move he took next with the initial move he did. You can see it's almost ×2 of the initial move, showing that this guy right here has strength. Okay, and look at the pullback. Almost about 70% of the last move he did, he used it to rest. What does this imply? This implies that this guy that is running down and taking this rest with all these big candles coming in inside the rest is a significant impression that this guy is done. This guy is done. This guy is weak. He could go one more further and that will be the end of his movement. Okay, now we've been able to understand this concept right from the group chat and everything. We've understood this concept to this point, but then we want to know where to connect our dots. Okay, where we need to give preference to when we are drawing our trend lines. All right, we have our first impression right here, and right there price came down, and all through we can see some level of respect around that region. You can see price coming down, and you have this exhaustion candle showing that this trend line is valid. Okay, and right there we forced the price down and ran down. Now when price came back up, about 70% of his last move was any line created. Yes, there was. Look at this candle. He took it up, and in one candle he rejected the price. This shows that this guy, despite this 70%, still has some level of momentum, still has some level of strength. It gives an opportunity that this price, this trend line is active. This trend line is valuable. Right here, you can join in the sell and sell it down. But when price came back, why is this area not respected? It's a figure of what move it did last. This move is a reflection of what it did last. It rested for about 70% of his move down, and when it got to this region, it could no longer go forward. No new lower low for him to have a nice higher high around this region and sell again. So it shows that this guy right in the middle of this is done. He's done with his movement. He's done. The guy is weak. Each time it comes in, you see the buyer striking back. Each time it comes in, the buyer striking back. It shows that this guy is weak. So an expected region around this place, you'll be expecting probably a breakout of this line and continuation to the other side. So these are how you can identify your trends. But when some of us draw trend lines and we just connect the dots without proper information of why that trend is valid and why it's not valid. Most times you draw a trend line and see, let me take this out. What happens to this trend line? You can see this trend line, and you have this breakout out of this trend line. But if I drew my trend line like this, do I have proper information? Do I have a proper information that price should continue to head up? Wow, nice touch. He had a touch, and price should continue to go up. Is this information enough for me to put all my house right in here and say price should continue to head up? So these are basic concepts that you want to know when you are drawing your trend lines. You want to know memorable locations that happen in time past, which is on your support and resistance. That is why we started with support and resistance area. You figure out this area after the trend, after the range. You can see that we have all this touch move right there, and you can see this memorable move. This area becomes memorable for us, and you can see this area, a breakout of that region becomes memorable for us. And when we are drawing, we are looking for our support and resistance area. Right? We are looking for our support and resistance area. We have our support right in there. So when price heads up with this nice move, a throw up on the 4 hours chart, and you can only find small candles inside, we expect a pullback around this region, and around our support area, price should continue to head back up, right? And when you want to look for your trend line, it's proper that you always connect those memorable areas. Only those memorable areas. We don't have an idea of what is going to happen right here. We don't. We don't have an idea that there's going to be a breakout. We don't. The only thing we saw was that we saw this nice strong move up into this region. And you can see right here, coming back to this our memorable zone. Okay, coming back to this our memorable zone, we want to connect only our memorable areas when you want to draw either your support, when you want to draw your trend lines. And these two key levels will give you an entry for a proper buy. Okay, and that is how you have this. So we expect that, okay, we have price reacting at this area again. You should have a price reacting at this area again. So if price comes and sits on our support right into this area, we want price to continue to head back up, right? So this is going to be our region of entry. Okay, most times when price gets to this region, two things you want to look for. You want to look for what is going to happen, what is going to happen before and what is going to happen after. What is going to happen before this trend line? You want to have an analysis of what is going to happen. You want price to come into this area sluggishly, and price begins to react to this area. That is what you should have in mind. That okay, this trend line becomes valid. Okay, when you are getting close to that area, what comes to the mind is, I want price to get sluggish. I want price to take its time. I want certain reactions. All right? I want the market to give me a value that when price gets to this area, it will react. And once it reacts, then that gives me a proper indication the price will continue. Okay? But then, what happens when price gets to that area? What happens? It broke directly into that area. Can you see? The candle broke into the trend line. And this gives you an indication that this trend line did not hold. This trend line could not hold. So, once the broke out of the trend line happens, what happens after? Now, you have a before analysis that price has been strong on the sellers. Can you see? The sellers coming in strong, buyers trying to struggle. You see the sellers coming in right there. Okay? This is your before analysis. What I will be expecting was that, okay, we have some small red candles, small red candles. We have exhaustion candles before the trend line. And once it's getting to the trend line, I can see some weakness in a part of the sellers, the pullback. Those are pulling back, the part of the sellers. Some nice weakness around their region. This gives me a proper clue that there's possibilities that this trend line will get respected again. But when you see I pull back into that trend line and you can see some sluggish reaction from the buyer, price came down, buyers tried to take it up, they rejected it. Sellers came in with a very powerful candle, buyers struggled to take that candle up. This information is giving you a clue that something is about to happen. There's possibilities that this trend line will not get respected. Possibilities that this trend line will not get respected. Now, you have this information that the trend line is already broken. What else do you need? A lot of people will jump right in and start selling. And like I mentioned to you, I said, you don't sell to the sellers. You only want to sell to the buyers. Okay? You only want the buyers to come in and buy from you. Then you now do what? You sell to them. So when you have indications like this, you want to look for a pullback into the trend line area. Price, get in. Show me that this trend line is still valid. Give me a proof that this trend line is valid. And right, you can have the buyer struggling to get into the trend line. This is an opportunity for you to join the seller's trend. Okay? This is an opportunity for you to join the seller's trend. You don't have to keep chasing the market. You don't have to keep looking for. You only need certain reactions in the market. Once you get that information, you can sell it all the way down. And that is what happens here. So, guys, when you're looking for opportunities, you want to connect memorable areas, right? We've stated that you want to connect only memorable areas that gives information. Okay, Now, and one thing you should also see right here is that your trend line also give you proper clue of certain things in the market that you later see in the market. Now, this is one of them. Okay, you have a pull up. Look at this, very nice pull up into our memorable zone, right? Our memorable area, and price reacted sluggishly, trying to meet up with this percentage upward. Let's say this is just about 15% of the movement upward, or about 20% of the movement upward. Okay, you have this calculation, and you can see when price gets to about 20% or about 15%, you see reactions. Now it's set for you to determine and say, okay, because of this reaction around this 20% area, okay, I have to join this guy. And price went up, and when price went up, you see price came down, and buyers struggling trying to take it back up. They couldn't create an high, and gradually from there price came down, broke the trend line. Now when price broke the trend line, what happens here? What is this area? What area is this? You will agree with me that we've pointed out that this area serves as our memorable area, around this area, thereabout, right? Around this area. So you want a clearance out of this area before you decide to say, well, it's time for me to join the market. You want a very nice clearance around this area. This area is memorable. Price reacted around this area, memorable area. You're expecting price came down, and when price came down, give me that memorable area again, and I'll put everything that I have, every damn thing I have. Give me a memorable area and I'll sell it. Give me a memorable area and I'll buy it. These are things you look for the market, and right there you can see you have the head, you have the shoulder, and right there you have the shoulder. But did we look for head and shoulder initially? No, we didn't. We're only concentrating on memorable areas with our trend lines and support and resistance area. Our memorable areas, those are the areas we were looking at. But then when we were looking at those areas, we were able to see certain things. Now you have your before analysis, okay, before the trend. You have after the trend line, after the trend line, and then we want a continuity. We want to resume, okay, we want to resume into the market, okay, we want to resume, and right there you have your opportunity to resume, and this will be a very good sell for you. So I hope we were able to understand to that level. Okay, so if this is properly clear with drawing our trend lines, can you see how our trend lines can give us proper clue of what is happening? But then we have only concentrated on regions that are memorable in the market. We don't just want to jump into the trade because we want to just take a trade, or we just want the trend to favor what we want to do and we just draw a trend line. No, you only want to join the trade on a memorable note, okay? You only want to join a trade on a memorable note. So can we look for other examples? Let's see GDP card, okay. Trend line, right? Would everybody agree that that's a nice trend line? And can you see some level of understanding to why this trend line is being respected? Price started moving upward, right? It rested, and right there it broke and reacted. You don't want to jump in. Price expected that area, it pulled back 50%, and it got respected that area, reacted around that area. Shows that this area is active. Why is the area active? Why? Because that area was respected initially. That area was respected initially, and we were only connecting our trend line. Okay, and once that area is respected, you join the trade and price start heading up. Nice higher high. You have an higher low right here, right? Now you have a new higher high, a new move. This guy is ready to run. Then what happens next? Price came down. You have one green bar. Before, you want to look at what is happening before. Okay? And look at this candle. Came down, went into this region, didn't touch the support and resistance line. Okay? And once it get there, started reacting. Hey guy, break this trend line for me. If you break this trend line, I will want you to retest that trend line, then I'll sell everything I have. Okay? Now he gets around this region and started reacting. Hey, why are you reacting there? Hey, what happens? Are you following, guys? Support, resistance, right in there. And price get back in. Came down again. Got to that region. I need to break this line. I need to break this area. Well, this area seems to be strong. And gave up and price went back up. So if this trend line sooner or later is going to come into play, you must have something like this. We'll be hoping to have something like this. Am I right? So you'll be looking for something like this. Price should get back into this region. Now price is moving around, you can see. Candle green trying to make new high, couldn't. You have this guy couldn't again, went up, got rejected. So you could be having something like this and price start heading down again. Alright? And when price head down, your reaction, your analysis before price gets into that trend line will tell you what is going to happen next. Do we have a memorable area around that region? Can we connect the dots? And right there, you see price getting around that region, and what happens next? It's two ways to it. Price can react back up to contest this region, okay? Or price can decide to break this region, come back and retest that region and sell it. So those are how you can actually analyze the market with your trend lines. And once you have your trend line, you have the right clue to your trend line, you will always, one, your trend line does not work alone, it needs support and resistance to back it up. Okay? Your support and resistance does not work alone, It needs your trend line to give you more clues to where the market is going. It tells you that the market is going upward to an upward trend. That is where the money is. That is where everybody, the big guy, is putting his money. Is buying it up. Is buying it up. But you want to get in. So right there you have your trend lines to help you filter out those areas where you want to get in. Then you have your support and resistance, your memorable area coming into play to also assist you in getting proper view about the areas you want to get into. Okay, I hope that explains that. So if you have any question that you want to ask, we are past 45 minutes already. If you have any question, you can drop it. Probably I will go through them and then I'll give answers to them. So so you can see them, you can see your trend lines, you can draw your trend lines. So most times we only draw our trend lines and just say, okay, let me just connect. Hey, no. You just draw trend lines like that and say, okay, because price is heading up and you have all the touch, just keep connecting the touch. Just keep connecting the touch. No. You want to have a touch that is memorable, okay, that has value. Not all the touches has value. Some of the touches were just created to shock some people out of the market, to scare some people out of the market. But then you need the memorable touch. You need the memorable areas to be connected, okay? And once you do that, okay, let me give you another piece, okay? You guys are still, let me give you a nice piece, all right? Now, look at this guy. Just saw something that I really like. Okay, let's consider this movement. Let me draw it this way. Then the reverse will be the case, okay? Price came down, a car was coming down the slope, okay? And right here, it has this small touch. Price coming at full speed. And you have these bumps, these small bumps right here. And the bumps did this to the car. Will you say that that bumps is strong enough to take out the car? Will you say the bumps, these small bumps that did this small reversal movement, small sluggish movement to the car, to a speed car coming at fast speed, and the bumps just did this, will you consider this bump as valuable? The answer is no, right? Now, and after it did that, the bumps did that, you saw this again. What do you think? What comes to your mind? Hey guy, it was a small bump. It was just a small bump. And after the bump, you saw a sluggish movement in the movement of the car. You said, hey, what are you doing? That was a small bump. That shouldn't take you out. And right there, you see, immediately you see another thing like this. What happened? Seems something is wrong. Something is wrong with the car. Something is wrong with the car. And next, you see, and you have this. Comes down again. Right there. Will you take cognizance of this small bump that this? Will you think of this small bump that did this to the car? Will you take memorable of this guy, price begins to react around that area again. Then what is this that happened there? What is this that happened there? Why did price came into this region? Why the price gets to this area? Why did price get into that area? This never existed in the market. Just never existed. It was just created for someone who have no clue to just jump in and start selling. Okay? That individual just jumps right in and he starts selling. Whereas the small bomb that did this is important. That small bomb that did this is quite important. And gradually you see price start heading back up. So now you have a clue how heads and shoulders, okay, are created. Now if you now have something like that, would you draw your trend line from this guy, or you only want to consider the body alone? This guy never existed. Now let me show you an example in this chart that we're looking at here. Look at price, came up and went back this much. Okay, that was very small to this move up. That was very small to what the damage it can do to this guy. And when price went back up, what happened? Hey guy, what are you doing? This guy was just too small, too little to the effect he can do to this massive move up right there. But then price get up and strike back down. Does this give you any information that this guy that ran up here almost 200% could be taken out by this small little thing? Hey, that is where we all have to open our eyes. Okay, so sometimes people will tell you and say you only want to connect the top, only the top of the trend line. If the top was valuable, okay, it will always be like this. If the top was valuable, that is why most times you always see me connect my trend lines with the body. I want to know what is happening with the real money. If the body is not connected, your trend line might not fit. You want to see the body, the action that happens right there. Okay? So why the trend line was not valuable? So what happens right here? If I had drawn my trend line and say I want to connect my tops alone, would that have given me enough information that I need? No. But then if I looked into this area, I want to connect my body, the body of the price, okay? That will have given me this information, that this guy that did this never existed. This guy that did this was just to take out people's hard-earned money. This is a faker. We call it a faker. Okay, and they are all there in the market. They are all there. You can easily see them in the market. Just jumps right in and gets out. Jumps right in and get back. Okay, and once he gets back, start heading the other way around. But most times when you see a faker in the market, it should give you an indication that the guy that was going at that opposite direction will soon go off. He's about to die. Okay? The faker will weaken him. A lot of people will get out of the market. A lot of people will be stuck out. Do you understand? That is an indication that, hey, you don't need to put in all your money. You only need to put in little penny, little amount. Okay? Because sooner or later, that guy is going to die off. And that is what happened next. Okay? Came down to this region and you can see this reaction. So same probably is going to happen to this guy. Went up, rested this much, went back up, respected that region. Would you have initially considered this movement to stop this guy from going upward? Would you have considered it? Certainly not. But it came back up and price started reacting. Then you wonder, what is happening to you? Then this gives you a memory that this guy, this small guy that did this, that could take out this long guy that ran up this much, is probably going to be respected right here again. Why did this happen? Now you have a better clue right now, right? That this never existed. This is just to create an illusion that price is going to jump up again. Price, yeah, it's back. Okay? And once it came in with one candle, with two candles upward, one candle took him out. One of the sellers' candle took him out. And so you should be looking for a very nice opportunity to get in right here, because this place is going to be very strong and could have something like this to come in play. So this training has also given you an eye opener to a new signal that might later come up, probably next week. Okay, so that's how we do it. Okay, you learn, you get opportunities. You learn, you get opportunities. Okay, so guys, thank you very much. We've exhausted 1 hour. I don't want this video to be too long. So if you have any questions that is bothering you on trend lines and how to connect your trend lines, try as much as possible to come back to the recording, listen to it all over again. Okay, one more time, just keep coming back, listen to it, ask me questions. I will be there to give answers to those questions. Okay, so I love you all. You can join me in the group. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel and you're just joining us for the very first time, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. All our content here, we give them free of charge. Okay, you can join all our trainings on Saturdays. We train FOREX. Okay, and you can join us in the group. Let me show you how to get connected to the group. Okay, so you can easily get connected to the group from our YouTube channel. Okay, let me see. I guess I have. Okay, you can go to our YouTube channel, IMFXGlobal. Then right here you have our Telegram group and our Twitter handle. You have it right there, and you can just click on it. On one click, it will take you to the Telegram group, and you'll be able to join. Okay, and once you join, you'll be able to have opportunities to get more information, join us, and have more fun with us. Okay, thank you very much. Have a lovely day. Till next week.